Police making arrests after a human torso and foot were found inside a building in the Bronx.
The suspect has been identified as Sheldon Johnson, a criminal justice activist who previously served time in prison.
A high-profile ex-con turned anti-violence activist who recently guested on the Joe Rogan podcast who was charged with murder this past Thursday after he was caught with a headless, armless torso in a Bronx apartment. Sheldon Johnson Jr., 48, was charged with murder, manslaughter, and weapon possession for allegedly killing a 44-year-old man, Colin Small. "I'm innocent," Johnson yelled to the reporters as he was led from the 44th Precinct stationhouse Thursday afternoon to appear in the Bronx Criminal Court. Police took Johnson Jr. in for questioning after officers responding to reports of gunfire found a suspect with Small's mutilated corpse inside a 6th-floor unit at the Summit Avenue apartment building near West 162nd Street around 8:30 p.m. Johnson Jr. was hired to work as a client advocate for Queens Defender after serving 25 years in the upstate prison for a 1997 robbery he committed in his early 20s. On the February 1st episode of the Joe Rogan Experience, lawyer Josh Dubin called Johnson Jr. a miracle and told the show's host that he had been unfairly sentenced for the robbery that left his victim with only 2 stitches.
Another miracle sitting to my right, just like a marvelous human being who was basically told by a judge, by an African-American judge, that you don't matter, you don't count, and I'm going to throw your life away for a crime in which the victim received 2 stitches.
Residents of the apartment building heard 2 shots coming from the 6th floor around 1 a.m., followed by a man shouting, "Please don't, I have a family," and then another 2 shots. Law enforcement wasn't notified of the gunshots until the building's super, who complained that a neighbor waited for hours before informing him of the disturbance, and he called in a wellness check for Smalls around 11:30 a.m. Responding officers were directed to a 6th-floor apartment where they were met by Johnson Jr. around 8:30 p.m. Inside, they found a torso and 1 foot stuffed inside of a blue bin. Small's decapitated head was found with a bullet wound alongside his severed arms, legs, and a remaining foot inside of a freezer inside the Kings Towers housing development in Harlem, where Johnson Jr. lives, according to the police. Upon reviewing the building's cameras, the Bronx Super recovered footage of a man who appeared to be Johnson Jr. entering and exiting the building's elevator, carrying bags and containers, including the blue bin. He is seen wearing various outfits, including a new boy's cap and blazer, and a boonie hat, and a beige jacket, and a blonde woman's wig with a down puffer. Johnson's family was the subject of a legacy of crime that began with Johnson Jr.'s father, Sheldon Johnson Sr., whose corrupt influence infected the lives of both his son and grandson. Deaf and addicted to crack cocaine and heroin, Johnson Sr. was arrested for essaying his 7-year-old daughter 3 times and forced his son to translate for him during drug deals, according to BuzzFeed. He blamed himself for instilling the behavior in Johnson Jr. that would leave a young man staring down a 50-year prison sentence. Johnson Jr.'s son, also named Sheldon Johnson, made headlines in 2008 when he attacked a 24-year-old Columbia University graduate student, Ming Yu, near the corner of Broadway and West 122nd Street in the Morningside Heights, punching his victim repeatedly in the face. He stumbled into traffic, attempting to flee his teenage attacker, but was struck and killed by the passing SUV. The younger Johnson was charged with manslaughter for used death and would spend 18 months in a juvenile detention boot camp. Joe Rogan received criticism from viewers when the episode aired, with critics accusing him and Dubin of downplaying Johnson's violent criminal history.
I caught the gun charge that triggered the felony that allowed them to be able to sentence me the way that they did in 1994. I also caught another case. At that time, I was what you call giving out consignment. 2 people in particular, I gave consignment to, and I ended up getting arrested for a case. And when I sent someone to go pick up the money from them, they kind of just was like, whatever. I'm not paying them. I need my money. It's just me being honest. It's just me being straight. I gave you something, and we had an understanding that you were gonna pay me. And when I came home, when I finally located this particular individual, he had his girlfriend with him. And this guy owed me $5,000 for some drugs that I had gave him. on consignment. I gave him an eighth of a kilo. And when I saw him, he had a bunch of jewelry on. He was with his girlfriend. She had a bunch of jewelry on. And I said, hey, man, where's my money at? Oh, yo, I was going to pay you. And as far as I was concerned, his jewelry we was even. So I robbed him.